Good happy Friday morning, December 7, 2018. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast, right here on the Riley King Network. Let's begin. First off, remembering Pearl Harbor. Let's take a look at the history of Pearl Harbor from the History Channel. Let's take a look at the video.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The facts of yesterday and today speak for themselves. With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph, so help us God. I ask that the Congress declare that since the unprovoked and dastardly attack by Japan on Sunday, December 7th, 1941, a state of war has existed between the United States and the Japanese Empire.
Okay, and that is Remembering Pearl Harbor. And the Remembrance Day is today, December 7th. Londonderry middle school teacher accused of threatening student. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Cardi's Furniture. Lazy Boy's reclining sofas, love seats, and recliners are the gold standard of the industry. Take advantage of Cardi's no-interest financing for up to 60 months. Lazy Boy recliners start at just $298. Cardi's Furniture. 51-year-old Stephen Dwyer is on administrative leave, accused of threatening one of his Londonderry middle school students. Last month, police say he told the child before class, quote, "I don't believe in guns or have a gun, but if I did, I would shoot you because you have your head down and not paying attention." And investigators say several other students witnessed it. According to the school's website, he's an English teacher. The Manchester man was arrested last week and charged with criminal threatening. Londonderry's school district is also investigating, and while the superintendent says he can't talk specifics of the case, he does say in a statement, quote, "It is important to remember that all persons must be presumed innocent until they are proven guilty. As always, the safety, security, and well-being of our students is our top priority." News 9 was not able to reach Dwyer for comment. Dwyer has been on leave since early November, and that's when police say the threat was made. He'll face a judge next week. Reporting live in Londonderry, Mike Cronin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire joins 39 other states in effort to reduce or stop robocalls. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Get jingly at the Made in New England Expo. Experience the incredible array of New England.
Don't like them.
Something everyone can agree on. Those robocalls that light up your phone all times of the day, for many people, multiple times a day. Often the caller on the other side of the line is trying to scam you.
They want to say, we can fix your computer. I said, oh, that's interesting. I work in IT. And then eventually I says, you know what? I really think you're trying to scam me.
Here at the New Hampshire Attorney General's office, Lisa English, who deals with consumer protection, says calls like that happen too often. The AG's office is part of a coalition with 39 other attorneys general, meeting with major telecom companies to come up with technology to combat the problem.
The states have met with major industry members, with AT&T, T-Mobile, Comcast, and they have worked together to come up with protocols that will help to eliminate the calls from reaching the cell phone, essentially.
A particularly troublesome tactic used by the scammers, neighbor spoofing. That's when a number pops up on your caller ID that looks as though it would be from a local caller, but it's not. The coalition is working to stop those as well.
The goal is that these calls won't come through anymore. So someone that is trying to do a robocall, a sales pitch, something like that, they're not going to be hiding behind a local number.
And so we do have some advice here for you. The Federal Trade Commission has a list of apps online. Those can be used to block some scam calls. They also suggest adding your name to the National Do Not Call Registry. If you do get calls, you can file a complaint with the FCC or FTC. And for scam text messages, you can forward them to the number 7726 or spam to report them. Live in the studio, I'm Charisse LeClaire, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Orphaned bear cub rescued in Laconia. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Gene Mackin.
Get jingly at the Made in New England Expo. Experience the incredible array of New England made. He could barely see it. A tiny cub alone in the woods in Laconia.
Originally I thought it was a trash bag until it turned its head and realized trash bags don't do that. And I noticed it was a black bear cub, very small.
Chris Lincoln was heading out hunting when he spotted the bear cub biologists were trying to trap for months, since the rest of its family was killed by a car.
If the mother bear was still around, it would not be that small. So I decided to call Fish and Game.
Biologists rushed to the spot and tranquilized the cub so they can help it.
Fish and Game says the bear was rescued just in time. It may have only survived another few weeks out here on its own.
The bear today weighed about 15 pounds, and that bear should weigh about 40 pounds. So it has a lot of gaining to do. It's been a pretty tremendous year with issues with orphan cubs, and that today's bear made the 50th one that we've picked up since September 26th. So this bear will go to a rehabilitator in Lyme, New Hampshire.
Chris feels proud to be able to come home and hold his own baby boy in his arms after holding that cub, a moment he'll never forget.
Overwhelming. It's incomparable. He's so small, so soft, incredibly warm, but really cute. It just felt really good to be able to save his life. I could guarantee that I saved this black bear's life, which will lead to multiple black bears in the future, and the ability for my son to enjoy the black bear species.
The bear cub should be ready to be released back into the wild by spring. In Laconia, Gene Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Secretary Gardner returns to work after winning re-election. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Adam Sexton.
We were born in New Hampshire in 1850 to help people through the challenges of life. You've known us as Child and Family Services, but going forward, you'll know us by a different name. Today, we are Waypoint, providing help along the way.
Secretary of State Bill Gardner has seen just about everything in 42 years overseeing elections in New Hampshire. But even he admits he didn't foresee Wednesday's high legislative drama involving razor-thin vote margins and a second ballot.
It was pretty interesting. I don't think I could have thought up, I never thought about a scenario like that.
Gardner says the victory was a validation, not for him, but for a principle, keeping partisan politics out of the Secretary of State's office.
I didn't want it to be about me. I was just representing a tradition that had been in this office for a long time. And that tradition was being threatened by the nature of this campaign.
Gardner and a majority of legislators took issue with the fundraising and partisan background of challenger Colin Van Ostern, who released a statement Thursday saying he's proud of the race he ran, but, quote, I am worried about the health of our American democracy. Van Ostern made modernizing the Secretary of State's office a central issue of his campaign. Gardner gave a nod to those critiques in a brief speech to the General Court after his win and tells News 9 he's not opposed to a discussion about change.
I welcome a dialogue. Come on down. The doors are never shut in this office. They're open.
If you want a closer look at how yesterday's drama played out, WMUR political reporter John DeStaso was embedded in the Secretary of State's office all day long. You can find his blow-by-blow insider account of the day at WMUR.com/politics. Adam Sexton, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Daring woman facing animal cruelty charges surrenders animals to officials. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9, Kristen Carosa.
Get jingly at the Made in New England Expo. Experience the incredible array of New England-made products.
It's an investigation that started months ago.
We received complaints during the summertime of some possible neglect and abuse issues with the horses.
Police Chief James Pushy says an officer and someone from the state went to this property on North Road to investigate. They found malnourished horses and oxen.
Their hooves had not been properly cared for. They were overgrown and deforming the lower legs of some of the horses.
And one horse was injured with a broken vertebrae. At that time, officials tried to help.
Offered some recommendations and some advice on how to bring up the care of these horses to make their situation better.
But after a couple of months, the police department received more complaints and went back to investigate.
We felt, based on our investigation, that the level of care provided to them was not sufficient.
Bethany Jewell was arrested, charged with several counts of animal neglect. The animals are now in the care of another farm where they are receiving the care they need. Police now issuing a warning to all animal owners.
If it's outside of your ability to do so, then you need to take action to get them the care they need.
Now, the owner will face a judge in February. We did try to speak with her today, but she does not have a comment tonight. We're live in Deering. Kristen Carosa, WMUR News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. World War II veteran battling cancer will receive Purple Heart, officials say. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
Get jingly at the Made in New England Expo. Experience the incredible array of New England-made products.
Well, tonight some great news for Corporal Francis Byrne. You remember him, the World War II veteran who was injured by a landmine during World War II but never received the Purple Heart. Well, 2 months ago, he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, afraid he'd never see his dying wish come true. Well, tonight, we can proudly announce that Francis will be receiving his Purple Heart. Senator Jean Shaheen, who championed for Byrne, passed along the good news.
He had been turned down twice before because the records that are normally required by the Army didn't exist. The lieutenant who was going to write him up for this injury was killed the day after it happened, and so that never happened, and he was in the middle of the battle.
Shaheen says she's working with the Secretary of the Army on when the medal will be delivered.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. That is good news there. Let's take a look at your European market and see how your European market is doing this morning. And here's a look at the European market this morning. Everything is in the green for the European market, so that is good. Tech stocks lift European market. Oil prices slide ahead of OPEC meeting. European stocks were higher Friday morning as investors monitored a fresh batch of economic data after the U.S. Central Bank delivered a bullish assortment of the world's largest economy. Trump expected to nominate Heather Nauert as UN ambassador Friday. President Donald Trump is expected to name Heather Nauert as the administration's nominee for the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations as soon as Friday, ABC News has confirmed. Nauert has been the State Department spokesperson since April 2017 after a career as a broadcast journalist at ABC News and an anchor at Fox News. And that does it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another newscast. And I'll have a news report coming up in a little bit. Goodbye, everyone.